Happy New Year and Blessed Epiphany. I'm Lisa Kimball. I'm the Project Director for Baptized for Life. I've met several of you and I look forward to meeting more of you in the course of this 5-year ministry project. I thought it might be helpful to send a short video update with some of our news at the beginning of our 2nd year of this project. I hope many of you did receive our January newsletter, which will now be a monthly newsletter. That will continue to tell the story of our work. But sometimes if you're like me, your inbox gets kind of full, and I thought a video prompt might be sort of fun. So here are some updates. As you probably know by now, Baptized for Life is part of a larger initiative from the Lilly Endowment that is committed to forming lives of meaning and purpose. Christian disciples who feel called into the world, fully confident about their witness to the world as Christians, and uniquely gifted for the particular places that they serve. So in that vein, we spend a lot of time in this project in prayer and discernment, and that is really at the core of our practices, both as a leadership team, and we hope we're cultivating that in your communities of faith. In the spirit of discernment, some shifts have already happened in our first year, and things that are all very holy and very good. We've had some shifting in our catechists. One of our original catechists, Hershey Mallet Stevens, took a full-time position in a parish right after she began working with us, and has wisely discerned that the call to that parish really requires her full-time attention. So Hershey has stepped out of being a catechist. She'll continue to be one of our advisors on the project. And Eduardo Rivera, who began as a catechist, we've invited to become our lead resource developer for Spanish resources. What we've learned is that working with Latino communities, as we are committed to doing, requires a quality of resource that we are not finding available across the church. And Eduardo and others are supporting us now to do not just translation of existing materials that were written in English, but to begin to develop organic and contextual resources for discipleship formation in communities. And we really needed someone with the expertise that Eduardo has to lead that project. So we've asked him to do that. And in the meantime, we will be announcing very shortly a new catechist for the Latino congregations. And I'm very excited about that. That's more news for the next news. The other thing we want to tell you is that we have come up with a new name for the Latino communities that are partnering with us. If you know that the Spanish at all, Baptized for Life is a playful and energetic phrase in English. It doesn't work quite so well in Spanish, literally. So we've worked with a number of people, theologians and practitioners, to try out a variety of terms and names. And where we've landed is on a term, Vida En Abundancia. So BEA, B-A-A, and if you know what BEA means in Spanish, it means look. So the acronym BFL in English has a parallel acronym now for Spanish in BEA, and we're just really excited about what that will provide for us as possibility for visual arts and for communication. So you'll be seeing some of that coming out in Facebook, on our website, in a number of ways. There's also been some adjustment to our timeline as we've begun to live into this project together, and we've discerned with you what's been easier than we expected and what's also been more challenging. So the overall message I want to communicate is that we are slowing down a little bit. We had originally intended for all of our congregations to participate in the Adapted Renewal Works survey, the instrument that many of you have now completed, to help you know something about the spiritual vitality of your community. We'd hoped that everybody would do that in the fall, and that we would spend the winter and spring coaching you and mentoring you to begin to discern a ministry project for Baptized for Life, or BEA. But what we're realizing is that some communities weren't ready for that inventory in the fall, so they're starting in January, and that's great. We also realized that to really benefit from the resource that is that instrument, which includes the workshops that you then settle around with a lay leadership team to interpret the data that you've collected, those deserve more attention. We also think that we want to support you through the catechists with our site visits and regular conversations and some more webinars that we're going to offer to better understand themes like calling, vocation, discipleship, baptism. These core terms that are going to be talked about and lived for the next 4 years. And then we know that we are using the discipleship model of the ancient church, the catechumenate, that is going to take some time for all of us to understand more fully. Each of you in worshiping communities is regularly participating in many components of the catechumenate, but we want you to become confident over the years about how to refresh those experiences so that they themselves become formation opportunities. So, rather than ask you this spring to fine-tune a specific ministry project and bring that to the summer residency, we're going to ask you this spring, to really focus on processes of exploring those themes: calling, discipleship, vocation, baptism. We're also going to invite you to work with your lay leadership team to identify the 2 to 3 people who will come to our May residency. The May residency, as you should know by now, is May 19th to 23rd. It's at the Claggett Conference Center, which is just outside of Baltimore in Maryland. The nearest airport is Baltimore Washington International, BWI, or the Dulles Airport outside the DC area. It's also very drivable. It's also very near Amtrak, and we'll work out all those details with you. We pay all the travel expenses and all the lodging expenses for those 2 or 3 people. But we want you to take time to discern who has the time available to come, who would represent you well. Our hope in those teams is that there would be at least 2 lay people and your clergy person or a clergy person if he or she is available to attend with you. That would be optimal. So you're going to get ready by beginning to think through what it means to be a faith community in your context. And you're also going to come to the residency having identified some possible areas where you see God moving, some needs in your community that you might want to focus on for your ministry project, or some areas that just you could go deeper, things that are already working well, but perhaps a particular group of people in your congregation or in your area or a particular population or a need could be addressed more fully from a Christian perspective. So at the residency, we will familiarize ourselves with the whole project, with these themes I've been mentioning, and each of your communities will get to workshop those ideas that you bring to us, so that when you return home for the rest of the summer and early fall, you'll work with your full leadership team to finalize your proposal for a ministry project for Baptized for Life, or BEA. When you do that, you will then send that in to us. We'll just affirm it, we will support it, we'll give you any suggestions we can about resources to supplement what you have locally, and then we will also give you the grant that comes from the generosity of Lily that will help you implement that ministry project, that vision, over the next couple of years. The other shift that this means is that you will be mostly implementing your ministry project for Baptized for Life in 2020, next year, and we will not have a residency that year. We think we would rather invest in having a second site visit with your catechist or someone who feels like a right fit for you around the particular specialization you focused on. And then in 2021, we'll have a residency, and all of us will come together, representatives from all of our faith communities, all of our leadership, and we will celebrate what we have learned, share those learnings, and begin to dream about how we're going to tell the wider church more fully what Baptized for Life has taught us. And that will give us a full year at the end of the project for that dissemination, for writing, for creating video, for telling stories, for leading conferences, for leading workshops, for helping your diocese and other parts of the church, other ecumenical partners benefit from what we've learned. All to say, we are glad you're on this project. And if you have questions about what's happening, you are welcome to reach out to your catechist. You're welcome to reach out to me. You're welcome to reach out to Kim Arakawa, our project coordinator, Jerusalem Greer, our project evangelist. We're all available. You can contact us through the website or on the Facebook page. What we really want you to know is that God is present where you are. And we are so blessed to be walking along beside you and deepening your experience of lives of meaning and purpose. We are thrilled to be in the Baptized for Life mission with you. And I really do look forward to meeting many of you in May and others of you further down the road. So thanks again for joining us. We give thanks to God and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the winter season. Blessings.